From coast to coast to coast, we'll be diving into the key issues during this campaign that matter most at the local level of government. This is Municipal Affairs Canada Votes 2025. We're here to find out what municipalities want from party leaders, local candidates, and their next federal government. From housing to infrastructure, from bail reform to resource development and agriculture and social services, municipalities across Canada are tackling a wide range of challenges, but they can't do it alone. They need a strong and reliable partner at the federal level to help build stronger, more resilient communities. And today we're heading to the land of the living skies, the province of Saskatchewan. It was a clean sweep in 2019 and 2021, with the Conservative Party of Canada winning all 14 seats up for grabs in the Prairie Province. But it was back in 2015 when all three major parties were major factors in the province, with the Liberals taking one seat, the NDP winning 3 seats, and the Conservatives under then Prime Minister Stephen Harper winning 10 seats in the province. You actually have to go back to 1997 when, in that election, the Liberals and the NDP were a major force in the province. That election, the Liberals and NDP both won 5 seats, and the then Reform Party won only 4. Today, we're looking at the wants and the needs of urban municipalities in the province. What do they want to hear from party leaders and local candidates? What priorities are top of mind as they look to the next federal government? Now, we are honored to be joined by Randy Goulden, president of the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association, or SUMA. Goulden brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to her position and advocates for urban municipalities of all sizes across the province. She will share her perspectives on what Saskatchewan urban municipalities need from the federal leaders and what SUMA is hoping to see as Canada inches closer to the April 28th election. So without further ado, let's go. President Goulden, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about the April 28th federal election, which is coming up very quickly. It seems like it just called a week ago, which it was.
Yeah.
You are the president of the Saskatchewan Urban Municipal Association. What are urban municipalities in the province of Saskatchewan looking to hear from local candidates and party leaders over the course of this month?
So we have officially launched our federal election platform and our campaign. It's important for our elected people across the province, but also for the people, our residents of our municipalities, to have the information in front of us, in front of them, in front of us, when someone knocks on our door or we're having conversation in a restaurant about what do we need as municipalities and who should I be voting for? What do I need to look for? So that's what our platform is all about. And Chris, even before we went into our campaign, our federal campaign, we started this about almost a year ago with our We Are Urban campaign, so that we brought to our our elected officials, but we also brought to our residents to understand what is our role. What is a urban municipality's role in what do we do? Because do we own the graders? That's very visual. But what else do we do? What responsibilities do we have? So that when now we go into the federal, we used it for the provincial. And it worked really well because we were hearing from candidates that they were getting questions asked, about like, how are you funding municipalities? What are you doing about the infrastructure deficit? That maybe wasn't as prominent a few years ago. So we started with the We Are Urban campaign that went right across this province and used different mediums. And now we get into the federal election. So, we have our priorities, definitely. And this is what comes from our members, through our feedback systems, but through the meetings that we have, through our strategic plan. And it may come as no surprise to you, the three big ones: infrastructure, economy, community safety, and well-being. Those are the three that are in our federal campaign.
Now, those are very big macro issues, and I'm a data person and I like data and I like to go back in time. The last time the province of Saskatchewan went majority not blue, as in conservative, was about 1997, if I'm not mistaken, or 1993. So I would be hard pressed to say that the federal leaders are going to spend much time in Saskatchewan during this election. They may make a quick stop in Saskatoon, Regina, but I would be hard pressed to say that they're going to go to Moosomin or Yorkton or
Mhm.
Prince Albert. Just putting that out there. How do you get, and as you, as in SUMA, get those three very big macro issues in front of the party leaders when traditionally Saskatchewan is not seen as a in play province, so they don't really matter?
Yeah. Well, you have to hit the people at the doorsteps and what they're hearing. Those politicians, those candidates, all those candidates have to understand what we need in our municipalities. And they're going to also hear, we know they'll be hearing about healthcare and education. That is something else they're going to hear about, and they will have the different associations that'll be advocating for that. But we know what we need as a municipality, and we need to have those things at the doorstep. We also need, we're doing other things with this. We're doing some videos. We're going to be doing a lot of social media. We are also going to be doing radio. We will be going on the radio and doing some of our ads. And we have all of those resources that are going to be available to our residents and our elected officials. They can go and use those things too. So yes, we have, the majority, all of the MPs in Saskatchewan are from the Conservative Party of Canada. We've had many discussions with them. They know what our needs are. I have a really good relationship with the chair of the CPC caucus. That's Kevin Waugh, an MP out of Saskatoon. About a month ago, so a month and a half ago, I was at a meeting in Saskatoon. I was heading home, and I got a phone call from Mr. Waugh saying, "Do you have time for a coffee? I hear you're in Saskatoon. Let's sit down and talk." So there's another avenue that I had an opportunity to talk with him and take it directly to when they were formulating their platform. So we also are very much a contributor to the FCM policies, who they deal on a national basis and have more contact with the federal leaders. We conduct polls here, Chris. We had David Coletto helping us doing some data and doing some polls. We'll be doing that again this time during and after the election, because you're right, data is king. So what we can say to them here in our urban municipalities, every one of the ridings has many, if
Yeah.
not just one, has many urban municipalities within that riding. And we have 83% of the population that are going to be voting. So you need to listen to us because we're bringing you what the concerns are.
Okay, so how do I ask this without asking this? But I'm going to kind of sort of poke the bear a little bit.
Yep.
You are having an upcoming convention, as in SUMA is having an upcoming convention. Now, traditionally, these conventions are pretty much dominated by a bear pit session or the premier speech, the leader of the official opposition speech. This is the first time, I think, in a very long time that the SUMA convention is happening during a federal election. Has there been invitations to the party representatives from Liberals, Conservatives, NDP to be in attendance, or are you letting them come if they wish?
There've always been invitations. We always invite them. And we always, provide if they want their leaders, only the leaders, if they want some moments with our members, we always do that. So we're very aware of that. We're very much tied to that. But we also know that they are in a busy campaign.
Yeah.
But we want to see and not just the elected ones right now, but the candidates. We want to have those discussions with the candidates. And we are providing our platform to our municipalities who in most times, in most places, I know here in Yorkton, we've got one scheduled for April the 20th, an all candidates forum. That's another way to directly hit those candidates and the people in the audiences so that we can have questions pertaining to municipalities. Hard hitting questions like, what are you prepared to do? What's in your platform that will address the issue on RCMP policing and not having enough members in our detachments? What are you going to be doing? What is your party going to be doing? So we've got those hard-hitting things that people can take to those candidate sessions, and ask those questions and have the data to prove from their own community.
We talk about the party leaders, but you're right. The local candidates will be the ones who are knocking on the urban municipal doors, the rural municipal
Yep.
doors. What should mayors be asking their local candidates heading into this election? Because you're right, you do have a lot in your platform. I had the pleasure to peruse it. For those who want to read more about SUMA's advocacy work, the links will be in the show notes. Please check that out if you are in Saskatchewan. But what do you want municipal leaders to be asking their local candidates? Because they're the ones who are going to be in Ottawa advocating for them.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping as president they'll be asking?
Well, I'm hoping that, and I'm fairly certain that those top three priorities, so we have top three priorities, and then we have 12 focus areas from each one, in totally, and on what we're asking for. We have backgrounders and all of that. So you've got information on all of that that they can take. And we know that in most cases in these candidate forums or when someone's on your doorstep, you can maybe go with one or perhaps two questions. What we would hope is that the leaders are taking those questions and putting a local spin to it, using local examples like, yes, we need policing, and this is why. The other one around the economy is, as we know, internet is key, broadband is key. That's how we do business now. And we know that Saskatchewan is lacking big time. So we're hoping that, some different examples can come out. We have trouble in my community of whatever because we can't compete against national, international, other businesses that put this on because we are still going, when we're trying to get some work done, it's going around in circles telling us we're not connected. So those kind of things. We've heard from some of our southern communities around border services that the Canadian government has cut some of the times that people can go through and access our southern neighbors and things that happen there. So hopefully on the closer to those to that border, our leaders will be bringing examples of, well, the grain trucks can't go through or something else can't go through. We're hearing that some communities may get cuts to their postal services. That's huge. And those are the things they need to hear. So I've picked a few things that come under the different priorities, but that may not be heard as much. And I guess we go to the big one too. We go to the big one that we're hearing, and that's around community well-being, and that's around healthcare, specifically into mental health and addictions. Our leaders need to know that we're hearing that, and that is occurring, and it's in all our communities, doesn't matter what size, we're seeing that, the homelessness. So they need to hear that. That's not just our key major cities, that's everywhere.
Why is it important for residents of these urban municipalities to also advocate? Because I'm going to play a devil's advocate with you for my second last question before I let you go. But municipalities, you've heard this probably as much as I have, are usually creatures of the province. So federal and
Yeah.
municipal, they just don't need to talk to each other. But why is it important for residents, for the people on the streets, not just the mayors and councillors, to also be advocating for these municipal issues in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, because those people are around and about all the time, and we see it as a municipal leader. I can't go for a walk. I can't go to my local co-op store without someone saying something to me. The snow removal right now, and we get lots of good thanks and thank you for doing what you're doing. But honestly, those federal leaders, how often are they grocery shopping in our communities where people can actually talk face to face to them without sending an email that may be answered by a staff person? We need that personal touch. And I go right back to one of my strengths that I think that our residents have, and that's relationship building. And they need to be building those relationships, not just with us as municipal leaders, but with provincial and federal leaders, because they're the people that are paying the taxes. They're the people that are building our economy. They're the people that can bring the best examples to those leaders.
So my final question to you, and it's always about the future because that's what I like to end on. April 29th, the new government will be elected. They won't be sworn in, but will be elected. Maybe Mark Carney, maybe Jagmeet Singh, maybe Pierre Poilievre. We don't know. Polls are all over the place right now. What are you hoping for from the next government, from SUMA's perspective? What's the want from the next government, and are you optimistic that SUMA can get it?
What do I want? I want to be able to be treated as a valuable partner. The one third, one third, one third, so that before any acts or laws or policies are brought in, the first call is to the municipal association. And in our province, it's SUMA SARM. Let's sit down and let's talk about that. It's different in all the different provinces or territories, but I want to be part of the decision making for this country. And I will say to you, I believe that with that, we can be a much stronger country and we can be a stronger province and we can be a stronger association.
President Goulden, always a pleasure to sit down with you and talk about SUMA. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person at the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association convention. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs Canada Votes 2025. Now, as you are probably well aware, that episode was recorded while we were traveling across Alberta in Lethbridge, Alberta. We appreciate Randy for taking time out of a busy schedule to sit down with us and talk about this federal election. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platforms or on YouTube, and your support means the world to us. So if this episode captured your interest, or if you want to share this episode with your friends, please do, because it helps get our word out. So until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a brand new episode of Municipal Affairs Canada Votes 2025 tomorrow. Till then, everyone.